Bold opening. How did India, once seen as a developing nation, rise to become a global powerhouse feared and respected by the world? Tease that the answer goes far beyond population size and outsourcing. Hint at the 10 untold secrets driving India's rise: ancient wisdom, military might, tech breakthroughs, youthful population, economic strength, cultural influence, diplomacy, and resilience. Roadmap. By the end, you'll see why India is no longer rising, it has already arrived. The power of youth. India's biggest strength today isn't just its land, culture, or resources, it's its people. More specifically, it's the sheer power of its youth. With over 65% of its population under the age of 35, India is home to the largest youth population in the world. While many developed countries struggle with aging populations, India's demographic dividend gives it a future-oriented edge. This isn't just about numbers, it's about energy, creativity, and ambition. From Silicon Valley to Wall Street, Indian-origin CEOs are leading global companies like Google, Microsoft, and Adobe. But what's even more impressive is what's happening inside India. Cities like Bengaluru and Hyderabad have transformed into global tech hubs, often called India's Silicon Valley. Startups in fintech, health tech, and AI are not just catering to India's 1.4 billion people, but exporting solutions worldwide. India now ranks among the top 3 countries in terms of startup ecosystems. From unicorn companies to cutting-edge innovations, much of this is being driven by young entrepreneurs who are rewriting the rules of business. For American or European companies, the question is no longer whether to hire from India, it's how to keep up with India's talent pool. This youthful energy is more than economics, it's cultural. India's youth are globally connected, English fluent, and culturally confident. They watch K-dramas, code for Silicon Valley firms, and yet celebrate Diwali with pride. It's this fusion of global vision and local roots that makes India's youth not just workers, but leaders of tomorrow. Strategic geography. When you look at a world map, you realize something powerful. India sits at the crossroads of global trade and security. Its location isn't an accident, it's a strategic blessing. India controls much of the Indian Ocean region, through which nearly 80% of the world's maritime oil trade passes. Whoever dominates these sea lanes has a say in the flow of global energy. That alone makes India a power no one can ignore. Add to this India's naval buildup and partnerships with countries like France, Japan, and the US, and you start to see why the Indian Ocean is sometimes called India's Ocean. On land, India's geography forces it to be constantly alert. With 2 nuclear-armed neighbors, China to the north and Pakistan to the west, India has to remain prepared for any contingency. This has made India battle-tested and security-conscious, sharpening its defense and diplomatic instincts. But geography isn't just about threats, it's about opportunities. India is a natural gateway to the Middle East and its vast energy reserves, as well as to ASEAN nations with their booming economies. This makes India an indispensable trade partner for both East and West. Simply put, India's location allows it to be the bridge between continents, and that is a form of hidden leverage. In geopolitics, geography often dictates destiny, and India's geography gives it a destiny of global importance. Ancient knowledge meets modern science. India's power isn't just about rockets, markets, or soldiers. It also comes from something much older: knowledge. For thousands of years, India has been a cradle of discovery and innovation. From giving the world the concept of zero, advanced metallurgy, and pioneering surgical techniques, to the deep philosophical traditions of yoga and meditation, India has always been a land where ideas shape civilizations. But here's the untold secret: India hasn't left these traditions in the past. Instead, it's merging ancient knowledge with modern science. Take Ayurveda and biotechnology. Once dismissed as traditional medicine, Ayurveda is now integrated with modern research to create new treatments and wellness industries worth billions. Or consider yoga. Once confined to Indian ashrams, it is now a global wellness movement recognized by the United Nations, celebrated annually as International Yoga Day. This fusion gives India a unique edge. While other nations focus only on material or technological strength, India's approach is holistic. It combines mind, body, and science. For example, meditation practices rooted in India are now being studied at top universities worldwide for their impact on mental health and productivity. In a world searching for balance between health and technology, between tradition and innovation, India is showing the way. That ability to draw from the past while building the future is one of India's greatest untold strengths. Economic transformation. If you asked someone in the 1970s about India's economy, they might have described it as stagnant or inward-looking. Fast forward to today, and India is one of the fastest-growing major economies in the world. This transformation didn't happen by chance. It was engineered through resilience and reform. The turning point came in 1991, when India faced a balance of payments crisis. Instead of collapsing, India chose liberalization, opening its markets, deregulating industries, and inviting foreign investment. That bold step turned India from a closed economy into one of the world's hottest destinations for business. The 2000s brought the IT and BPO boom, with cities like Bengaluru becoming outsourcing capitals for the globe. American companies found that India not only had cheaper labor, but also highly skilled English-speaking talent. Soon, India was no longer just a back office. It was innovating products and services used worldwide, but India didn't stop there. With the Make in India campaign, it is now pushing manufacturing, defense production, and green industries. Add to this a growing middle class of over 400 million people, larger than the entire U.S. population, and you have a domestic consumer market that global companies simply cannot ignore. Today, India is on track to become the third largest economy in the world within a few years. This transformation isn't just about GDP numbers, it's about influence. Economic power translates into diplomatic and military power, and India is using both wisely, defense and military strength. Power isn't respected unless it can be defended. And India has built one of the strongest militaries in the world to ensure just that. Ranked as the fourth most powerful military, India's defense strength is a mix of size, technology, and nuclear capability. India maintains a nuclear arsenal and a doctrine of no first use, but make no mistake, it has the ability to retaliate massively if provoked. On land, India fields one of the largest standing armies. In the skies, its air force is powered by modern jets like the Tejas, an indigenous fighter, as well as Rafales purchased from France. At sea, India is expanding its naval presence with Arihant-class nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers, projecting power across the Indian Ocean. What makes India's military unique is its combination of foreign partnerships and indigenous innovation. It continues to buy advanced systems from Russia, France, and Israel, but it's also building its own missiles, tanks, and defense technologies. This dual approach ensures that India is not dependent on any one supplier. Beyond self-defense, India is now becoming a defense exporter, selling equipment to friendly nations and building influence. Its naval dominance in the Indian Ocean also makes it a natural counterbalance to China's growing ambitions. The message is clear. India is no longer a passive power, it is an assertive force with both the will and the means to defend its interests. India's rise as a technological powerhouse is one of the most underappreciated aspects of its global strength. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has shocked the world with missions that rival NASA and ESA, but at a fraction of the cost. Chandrayaan's lunar missions, Mongolian's journey to Mars for under $75 million, and the upcoming Gaganyaan human spaceflight all highlight India's ability to innovate with efficiency, but space is just the beginning. On the ground, India has quietly built a digital revolution that is reshaping global finance and commerce. The Aadhaar biometric ID system is the largest of its kind, covering more than 1 billion people and enabling access to government services at unprecedented scale. Then there's UPI Unified Payments Interface, a real-time payment system that has outpaced PayPal and even inspired other countries to replicate its success. With ONDC Open Network for Digital Commerce, India is now challenging the dominance of Amazon and Walmart in e-commerce. India is also rapidly investing in artificial intelligence, semiconductor manufacturing, and cybersecurity areas long dominated by Silicon Valley. Global corporations are noticing this shift. Where once they outsourced call centers, now they are outsourcing AI research labs, chip design projects, and next-gen software solutions. Each of these steps makes India less dependent on foreign technology while opening new opportunities to dominate future industries. The message is clear. India is not just catching up in technology, it's setting the pace. Cultural and soft power, military and economic strength may build influence, but soft power is what truly wins hearts, and India has it in abundance. Bollywood is the world's largest film industry, producing stories and stars that travel across continents. Indian cuisine from butter chicken to dosas has conquered global kitchens, while music genres from classical ragas to modern fusions are being embraced internationally. The Indian diaspora, more than 30 million strong, is another source of influence. From CEOs like Sundar Pichai at Google and Satya Nadella at Microsoft to political leaders in the US, UK, and Canada, Indians are shaping decisions at the highest levels. These leaders bring not only expertise but also cultural pride, acting as bridges between India and the world. One of the clearest examples of cultural diplomacy is International Yoga Day, recognized by the United Nations and celebrated in more than 170 countries. Yoga has become a global health movement, and its roots in Indian tradition are undeniable. Soft power gives India a unique diplomatic weapon. While other nations are seen through the lens of hard politics, India is seen as a country of wisdom, culture, and creativity. That perception strengthens its global standing without firing a single shot. Master of diplomacy, India's foreign policy has been a study in adaptability. From the era of non-alignment during the Cold War to today's multi-alignment strategy, India has learned to balance relationships with competing powers. It maintains strong ties with the US while keeping defense partnerships with Russia. It engages Europe and Japan while standing as a leader in the global south. This balancing act has elevated India to a central role in global forums. Whether in BRICS, the Quad, or the G20, India is no longer a silent participant but a key decision maker. Its presidency of the G20 showcased its ability to set agendas and bridge divides between developed and developing nations. What makes India's diplomacy unique is its credibility. It isn't seen as an empire builder or a country forcing ideology on others. Instead, it positions itself as a voice for the voiceless, championing fair trade, climate justice, and multipolarity. That's why nations from Africa to Southeast Asia are increasingly turning to India as an ally. Diplomacy, combined with soft power and economic leverage, has transformed India into a global consensus builder, something no single Western nation can claim today. Resilience through adversity. Every great nation is defined not only by its victories, but also by its ability to survive setbacks. India's story is one of resilience. From centuries of colonial exploitation to partition, wars with neighbors, poverty, and even pandemics, India has faced obstacles that could have broken weaker nations. Instead, it emerged stronger. Despite its challenges, India chose democracy, a gamble in a country of vast diversity. While many newly independent nations collapsed into authoritarianism, India's democratic spirit held firm, giving it long-term stability. Economic crises in the 1960s and 1990s became turning points that forced reform. Natural disasters and health crises from tsunamis to COVID showed the world how India could mobilize its population and still continue forward. There's a saying, if you can thrive in India, you can thrive anywhere. That spirit defines its people and its institutions. This resilience doesn't just make India survive, it makes it thrive under pressure, proving its global strength again and again. Vision for the future. The final secret isn't about the past or present, it's about the future. India has set its sights on becoming a top 3 global power by mid-century, and its roadmap is ambitious. In energy, India is investing in massive solar and wind projects aiming to be the world's leader in renewable energy. The National Hydrogen Mission is pushing toward clean fuel technologies that could redefine global energy markets. Digitally, India is building smart cities, expanding high-speed internet, and leading in fintech innovation. Aadhaar, UPI, and Digital India initiatives are already benchmarks for other nations. Infrastructure projects like bullet trains, modern highways, and expanded ports show a country preparing for the demands of the next century. But vision goes beyond numbers, it's about mindset. India is embracing a future where it will not just follow, but lead in technology, climate action, defense, and global governance. This confidence, backed by strategy and execution, ensures that India isn't waiting for permission from the world, it is actively shaping the future of the world. Lessons and reflections. India's story is not a sudden miracle. It's the result of centuries of wisdom, decades of reform, and years of resilience. The combination of ancient knowledge, youthful energy, cultural pride, and strategic foresight has created a path no other nation has followed. For developing nations, India is a model of growth with identity, proving that modernization doesn't have to mean westernization. It shows that a country can globalize while still holding on to its culture, values, and sovereignty. India's rise also carries a lesson for powerful nations. Never underestimate a nation's ability to reinvent itself. What was once dismissed as just a developing country is now a global powerhouse influencing technology, diplomacy, defense, and culture. Call to action, so how did India become so powerful? Through 10 untold secrets, the energy of its youth, the advantage of its geography, the wisdom of its past, economic transformation, military power, technological leaps, cultural influence, sharp diplomacy, resilience, and a bold vision for the future. The truth is simple. India is no longer rising, it has already arrived. Now, I want to hear from you. Which secret do you think is India's greatest strength? Is it the unstoppable youth, the power of technology, or the resilience that carried it through history? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who want to understand India's rise. And stay tuned for our next video, India versus China, the silent race for global leadership.